Okay, so welcome everybody. This is a new little venture. This is in a similar pattern to Love Speaks Love, and it's called Heartful Living Weaves. And I've been getting the nudge to do this. The primary focus of this, as was Love Speaks Love, is living from the heart, heartful living, and how we do that. But also in that, I'm including our connection with Gaia, with the plants, with the trees, with the crystals, with everything. It's about how we live from the heart. And really, Love Speaks Love fits into that umbrella as well. So I'm not planning on stopping Love Speaks Love. It's just that these may just have a slightly different emphasis. So welcome to our first chat. And my beautiful guest today, at very early o'clock in the morning in Vancouver, is Kandice Co. Welcome.
Thank you. As you were speaking, I was really feeling this branch off of Love Speaks Love. Like love is the trunk, and it's a branch of that, and it's like love bees love. Love listens through love, and that will just weave us right into a little further along our experiences with that and nature.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so while people are gathering, I will share it later, I think, but I feel, actually, no, I'll just do a couple of shares now. So I'm just going to share it to a couple of pages and a couple of groups. Just bear with me a second. Oh, that's nice. It's all in the same order as yesterday. Okay. Okay, so in the same way as we used to start Love Speaks Love, except I forgot to do that last time with Joe, I'm just going to bring us into our hearts. So I invite us all to bring our awareness to our heart space in the center of our chest. Feeling all the love that resides in your heart. And as you bring your awareness to your heart, feeling your heart beginning to expand. So connecting our hearts together, Kandice and I, and all of you watching live or on the replay. Feeling our hearts joined, as they always are, in the one unified field of love. And let us just extend our heart awareness out now to the heart of Gaia. So you might feel your energy just weaving down into the earth, deeper and deeper down, all the way to the center, to Gaia's beautiful heart. And as we feel that heart-to-heart connection with Gaia, feeling her love, her appreciation of us, her recognition of all of us, and her gratitude. So just feeling that reciprocation, feeling our love and gratitude going down to Gaia's heart and it being reciprocated to us. And extending the heart awareness out to the sun. Again, feeling that love, that gratitude, both ways, from our hearts to the heart of the sun, and from the sun's heart to ours. And extending that heart awareness out to the heart of Source Creator. Feeling the love from Source and the gratitude moving into our hearts as we extend our love and gratitude to Source Creator. And just handing over to you, Kandice, if there's anything you wish to add.
Just feeling the powerful field between our two mighty hearts and creating a strong signal and bridge between us from where you are in beautiful England and where I am in Canada.
And as I often do at times like this, I'm seeing little golden lights flicking on all around the planet and seeing lines of energy connecting all of those. And I'm just feeling to call in the presence of the trees, the waters, the plants, the crystal beings, the dragons. Feeling our energies connecting in with the New Earth grids as we do this. And all the creature grids. Connecting with the ley lines, the energy lines of the earth, and the new crystalline energy lines, the new grids. And just feeling as we connect in with them, that the love from our hearts is just boosting that energy throughout the planet. Anything more you wish to add, Kandice?
Nothing to add, just basking in this incredible, loving container that is this moment with your beautiful guidance.
Thank you. Okay, so if your eyes are closed, just opening them when you're ready and just basking in that love, feeling that love moving all around your body. It's just a beautiful place to start. Oh, I took a moment or two to open my eyes again. Oh, that feels better. So for those that don't know you, who is Kandice Coe? Putting me on the spot.
Well, I feel like I'm still figuring that out myself. Oh my goodness, I'll just let my heart speak. I have discovered so far that I am a deep lover of life. And I am here for a lot of different experiences. And I recognize that, well, for one thing, you can always find the value in many different experiences. So as I've opened myself up to many different experiences, I've recognized that now I can sort of navigate into what I open myself up to, you know. At first it was like I just wanted to experience as much as I could, and any experience is a good experience because it's an experience. So it's like cultivating value. And as a deep lover of life and creation, I've found myself here on this incredible planet that is this living fractal that has many corridors of life again, full of rich diversity and experience. And I could travel into many different spaces and places with that knowing, and even as I say, with my heart, with that deep love that I am. And so I think what I'm saying is I'm a sojourner. I kind of hit the ground running from a very young age, soaking it all in and recognizing that I am some type of wanderer. So just as a wanderer and as someone who is sort of mining here, I'm mining this earth for experiences and perspectives and contexts. And I've sort of come here with all of the context and mining that I've done in other spheres and places and spaces without the details. I've just come sort of with the vibration of that. And so connecting that which I have accrued to that which I'm accruing now sort of leads me right here. And I know that's kind of a strange answer, but it's the truth.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I had in mind a few places to go in this. And one of the ways that we've been connecting a lot of late, and I love that you've discovered this. I've only recently discovered this magic of connecting to the earth through our backyards, our gardens. I've done it with plants in different ways, but not to the level that I've been doing it recently. And one of my great joys is to connect to the earth and nurture the earth and tend to the earth in the beautiful way that we can through growing things, through gardening, through planting seeds, through having your hands in the soil. And it's kind of crazy what a joy that can be. And I think only people who've done it and loved it really get it. It's hard to kind of put it into words, but I wonder if you can share why you love to do that so much, what it does for you on a personal level, aside from we can grow things that we can eat, which is amazing, but how doing that and connecting so deeply with the earth, how that works itself in your body and what you gain from doing that.
I'm so excited to speak to this. So as I was speaking before about this being this incredible living fractal, so previous to this, I was more exploring the, I guess, virtual spheres and mental spheres and mental, like the access point between psychic senses and virtual, and right, that apparatus. And so without going on to a tangent and getting lost, however I found myself, I dropped down into my garden. And what a gift that has been. It's like a sandbox, it's like being a child in a sandbox and losing yourself and finding yourself in this imaginary play, but it's also not imaginary. It's like the connection point between your imagination and the real living, breathing, geometrical reality that is Gaia, that is nature. And you're witnessing again games within games within games. And when you're outside, not in a box, the spaciousness that you are afforded, it's like you can breathe into infinity, and you're for whatever reason, I just got a picture of swimming in the water, and like the endless water, like it kind of feels like that. I witnessed right away, I wanted to have no shoes on, and I want to have my bare hands. And it started very honestly or innocently with planting plants. And then I recognized that I started to feel the placements of the plants in a strange way. And I started to recognize like that plant's not happy. And I didn't, so the intuition started happening. This communication immediately was there between the happiness of the plants and wanting to help them find their perfect home. And I most often don't use a shovel. I use my hands. And you and I had this conversation of this euphoric experience that we were having between with putting our hands directly on the soil and feeling this pulsating response with our between our hands and the soil, and it lighting us up and having a direct response to the chemicals in our body. And so the first journey I'll share and wrap up here is physically moving plants to places that make them happy, and then seeing them flourish and light up, and then witnessing that. Just even that was just so gratifying beyond beyond making a post on, like, I love sharing, but it was sharing with something that the communication between us was different. And that's a whole conversation that we could go into, is how to conversate with nature, how to feel it, how to be a part of it. We already are, but it's like falling back in to that capacity or that intuition.
Beautiful. I love what you said at the beginning about the spaciousness of the breath, and I hadn't fully consciously recognized that, but you're so right. Like your breath, if I take a deep breath in here inside the house, even though there's plants around me, it's not the same as taking a deep breath outside. You've got nothing between you and everything. And I so hear what you're saying about the joy that you feel about putting a plant in the ground and seeing it thrive there, like seeing it grow, seeing new shoots come. I get ridiculously excited about seeing anything like that, new flowers. I would love if we lived across the road from each other. I was thinking this the other day, because I'd be like, Kandice, I've got a new flower come out, and you'd run over, and then I'd run over to yours when there was a new shoot there. And that's what it's like. Like, I don't tire of that feeling of seeing things thriving when they're in the ground, if that's possible. And I love what you said about digging with your hands as well. I don't feel I can do that because there's still a lot of broken glass in the soil where I am, but I really love that. And I do as much as I can with bare hands without my gloves on. And if I get a new plant, instead of just planting it straight away, I'll sit it in a place for a while and I'll communicate with it and be like, I'm feeling to put you here. What's your feeling? And you kind of know the answer. You might not hear a little voice saying, yes, thank you, I love it here. But you just have a feeling of whether it feels good in your body, that plant being there. And also when you put it down, which way does it want to face as well? It's not just a matter of placing there, but which direction does it want to go in? And I usually sit it there for a few days so that it can get used to being there and know if it's the right place for it. And when I do plant it, I use a lot of crystals in my garden as well. And a tip that I picked up from Chalice Well Gardens, one thing that they do, and I learnt a lot from the way that they honor their plants. They have little ceremonies if they have to chop anything down, like a tree that's not doing well. They will hold a ceremony in reverence for that tree. And I think the same when they plant new things, especially the bigger things as well. And a lot of people gift crystals to the Chalice Well, like they often leave them by the well. So those crystals get used in the garden. They usually put 4 crystals around a new plant for the 4 directions, so north, south, east, west. I don't always do it that way. I just ask the plant where it wants the crystals to be. It tends to be north, south, east, west, but not always. Sometimes I might only put 3 round instead of 4. And I feel with the crystals that it's kind of boosting the energy of the plant. And I connect my heart with the plant and I place my hands on the soil around it once it's in, and I close my eyes and I just go into that deep energy place and just let universal life force energy come through my hands into the plant. I might put my hands above it as well, so it's going into its leaves, but mostly I'm focused on the roots of the plant and just really filling that space up. I also energetically place them in an octahedron. And once I've done that, I see a whole line of octahedrons like pearls going all the way to the heart of the earth. So I'm consciously connecting to the plant to the heart of the earth, even though I know that the plant is already connected to the heart of the earth. But it's like I'm just reinforcing that connection. And I'll leave my hands there until I feel the energy just start to dissipate a little bit. I might well sing to the plant, and I might well speak light language to the plant as well. Over to you. Anything you want to add to that about how you connect?
So while you were speaking, I kept hearing, or the word biofeedback was flashing for me. And this is like an example of us recognizing our capacity of biofeedback, of being a biofeedback instrument ourselves as we're connecting with these living beings. And what you just said is new to me, and I'm really excited to experience that myself. It felt like you were really intentionally amplifying this capacity of nature to hold the natural signal. And that might kind of seem like a double, like I'm saying something that's obvious, but it's like you've doubled it up. You've really intentionally increased the natural signal, which I feel is so important right now because of all of the signal bombardment. And I think that's probably what has caused us to walk into nature. We had to walk out of something and return into nature, which is why I was saying kind of fall back in because in some ways, I think we've leaned too much in a certain way. So this is a real reorganization and reconnection and reharmonization. And I think we're designed to do this. And I was also hearing Earth Keeper, Earth Keeper, Earth Keeper. And you're really, in that way, becoming a keeper and a gardener in a new, it's not a new sense, but in a renewed sense to us. It's like, okay, it could be just a plant, or it can be a living lighthouse and tower of energy that's the heart of Gaia. That's really like drawing from the crystal heart of Gaia all the way up through the plant. Now, an ambassador of that signature, even though it might just be a small little plant, the vibration. So it feels like it elevates the capacity and the potentiality of nature and us at the same time, in a very pure sense, in a very organic sense. And in some way, not necessarily having to go through all the practices that you're doing, but in some ways and in many ways, getting in touch with nature, just even on the very basic level of nurturing something, you are nurturing yourself. And it is one of the greatest antidepressants. It is, we're getting antioxidants. We're all of the positive ions that we're absorbing from our technology and our buildings and all that stuff. We're releasing those and drawing in the negative ions. And it just, nature is balance. It balances itself when it is not interfered with, and then when it is learned from, and then harmonically built with. I was obsessed for a really long time with researching ancient archaeology and the megalithic builders, these earth builders that were here a long, long time ago, that left their signature in polygonal walls, where it seemed like they just freestyled these walls together in these fantastic shapes, and the magnitude and the size of these blocks. When an earthquake would come along, these polygonal blocks would just flex in the perfect way, like a lung that's just going. And so they practiced biomimicry, and they saw the earth, and then if they were going to build a waterway, it would look like a natural stream. You would think that it had formed naturally, but the people had really built in alignment with what was already there. And my soul just so deeply calls me to that understanding. It's like this, again, this earth, this living fractal technology. I feel like that's so much cooler than the artificial technology. I honestly think it's not just cooler, it's the kingdom that I want to live in. I want to live in the earth kingdom and be a part of building it to its fullest fractal beauty and capacity with it as it, instead of feeling like it's in my way and I need to blast through this mountain with dynamite or I need to drain this entire lake because I want farmland or something, Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I feel relevant somehow.
And you've reminded me, when I was speaking before, what I forgot to mention was connecting in with Gaia. as well, and asking Gaia where she wants the plants to be. It's actually a three-way process between me, the plant, and Mother Earth herself. And this is where I think we've got so much to learn. If we connected with Mother Earth, say about a road going through somewhere, she might suggest, why don't you just take it round there a little bit, because she knows best. And I doubt she's working with us as well. So yeah, she might have a way, instead of blasting through the mountain, there might be a different way that she suggests. And this way of doing things is something that we used to do, but we've forgotten how to do it. And that's not everyone on the planet. There's still a lot of Indigenous people around the world that still do that still connect with Mother Earth in their interactions with her, and kind of get her permission with things, but also just working together, weaving together in that way. And even if you don't have a garden, you know, indoor plants, it's a great way to start. It's a great way of kind of learning that and seeing how things grow. But going for a walk in the park or connecting with the trees to kind of, you know, one way you might want to do it is standing with your back leaning against the tree. If you feel too awkward standing forward and giving the tree a hug that way, that if you just stand or sit and lean with your back against the trunk, so your spine is connecting with the spine of the plant, and just connect in with the tree, and maybe connect in with the spirit of the tree and the fairies that are around. And just, you know, even just say hello, and you're here to serve, and maybe breathe into your heart space first. If you're you know, if you've gone out into nature and you're feeling a bit cranky or whatever, maybe try and release that en route through your feet. And I always feel that Mother Earth doesn't mind us doing that. She's not just going, oh, she can deal with that energy. She can transmute that energy. Energy is energy to her. But especially when you're connecting with the fairies, just to check in with your heart first and speak from your heart, because they know if you're not coming from your heart, they'll see it a mile away. And they are more keen on connecting with people that are speaking from their heart space. But connecting in with the trees, and, you know, just have a chat with the trees as if it's your friend. Maybe ask the tree for its name. It might give you a comedy name. Katrina is one that often a comedy name that comes up. Triva. Yeah, just connect in and just see. And as we walk through nature, it just feels that we can more easily connect to ourselves, our higher self, our multidimensional aspects. It's so much freer to do that because the trees are antennas, so it's a lot easier to get a signal. But if you're wanting to connect with the tree, even if you just pretend to start with, just use your imagination and just imagine an answer coming through, and maybe write it down. And when you read it back, you might find, oh, that's not how I would word things. That doesn't quite feel like my words there. Over to you.
Well, there's an ancient language that is accessible to us through our deep sensitivity, our feeling, again, back to the biofeedback. And so taking the steps and the journey that you just sort of unfolded there helps you to start to attune to the feedback system that's there, this language of perceptibility. And there's infinite information that's held within the living biofield of this planet itself, that's housed and kept in all of its elements. It's all here. There's so much information. And it's kind of like, well, how do we convert that information into usable data? And we do that through the feeling. We do that through purifying our feeling. And first we have to come and sit like by the tree or on the earth in our honesty and in our, the word reverence comes up, but it's like entering the temple. You're entering a very sacred space, and you're understanding that the ancient wisdom is just far beyond anything we may think we fully understand. So it's just like coming in that humbleness, right? Like you're sitting with the elders. It would be like entering a circle of wisdom keepers. You are doing that when you go and sit with the trees. You are doing that when you sit on the earth, and you feel the wind, and you watch the wind move through the branches. And this is the sort of journey that I've been taking myself, is learning to perceive this feedback system. And I've been given many stories from trees that sort of, as I'm connecting with them, they unfold in an interesting way. It starts to come into my body like a feeling. And it's like I'm starting to get full, like someone's pouring water into my cup. And then it's coming up, and then it reaches my third eye and my mind. And then this apparatus starts to create a picture. So I'm literally perceiving the information. And so I had an 800-year-old tree tell me about the journey of humanity as we sort of decided to become afraid of the natural forces itself, how superstition came to be, and how the desire to not be at the mercy of our mother anymore. It was almost like this teenage experience of growing up where it was like, mother, I don't need you anymore. I'm going to go and build my own structure to protect myself from you and to protect myself from the forces. And there was an entire journey that was taken to sort of go it on our own, not recognizing that, you know, the oneness and the nurturing connection that I want to say can never really truly be divorced. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I could elaborate on and on about this experience that I was given to by an 800-year-old tree. And even as you were, I was listening to you speak, I was kind of feeling how we lost our connection, how we lost our ability. You were mentioning the indigenous, how there are many indigenous peoples that still are connected and interwoven into this fabric of deep listening and deep asking. You know, they're still in their nature. They're still in their nature. And so when you mentioned that and the asking for permission, I saw something unfold in the picture factory of empire, and how empire systematically disconnected so many of us from our roots. And at one point we were all indigenous, and we still are, right? Like, it's been part of my exploration to, recognize that I was born in captivity. I am a being born in captivity. And that felt strange to me, because I had these deep memories of being really interwoven with the earth and nestled in the framework of the earth. And those little memories, those powerful memories, I shouldn't call them little, like carried with me here. And so my consciousness sort of waking up in a box, in the box house, and sort of like in this life, it was like, am I missing something? Like, this is, there's just a strange thing. And I feel like now, at this time we meet here, I'm making the journey, taking this journey to return. I'm hearing that return to innocence, the Enigma song. It really is. It's returning to our innocent nature, in our inner sense, innocence, our inner sense, our inner sense nature. And when we've been taking for so long, that it's just like, it feels so weird to ask. I could see, it's like, why do I all of a sudden have to ask for permission? It's like this entitlement that's being there. And like, as I said, entitlement, I heard a tidal wave. It's like this tidal wave of entitlement that had been sort of bred into us, and many different things. So sorry, I'm tangenting again, but it's like this return journey that we're experiencing through our garden, through our gardens. And it doesn't like you said, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a backyard. This return journey can happen in a pot. You can take a pot of soil, which is the soul of the mother, and you can tend to that soul, and it will aliven and awaken your own soul. And as you put your hands in the dirt, and even if you smell it, and sometimes I have the weird desire to like put it on myself, you're getting the microbiome. And there's a strange sort of crisis that's happening on the planet right now, where the soil is becoming depleted because of our practices. We're like sapping the essence from the soul of the mother. In certain areas, of course, there are pristine, luscious, incredible areas where the soil is still preserved. But it's like the more we're disconnected from our soil, our soul, where we live, it's like a direct correspondence to the bacteria that is growing there and thriving. Sorry, there's just so much that wants to come through, right? Like our gut bacteria and the soil, and you can use those words interchangeably, soil and soul. And so this is sort of what we're learning in this exploration, in becoming real again, Pinocchio.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I wrote microbiome down before. I wanted to come back to that, so thank you for raising that. Yeah, even on a physiological level, and doctors are beginning to become aware of the beauty of nature, and fishing as well, like prescribing going fishing to people, which is more about connecting with nature. It's a way, and it's almost like, I feel like I go fishing all the time, but I don't fish for fish, but I do everything else that a fisherwoman does, just sitting in nature and connecting to nature. But it's almost like you have to have an excuse, like a dog to walk, or going fishing, to just be able to sit there and be present with yourself and let your thoughts go and just kind of focus on what's around you.
It's just been such a beautiful, profound experience to connect with you in this way, in this commonality. And my birthday this year was such a special day for me. It was such a peculiar day where I felt, you know, you have those weird birthdays. It was one of those weird birthdays for me. And then you and I connected and started sharing about our gardens. And you were videoing your garden and taking me through, and we were just sending messages back and forth. And instantly it became one of my favorite birthdays of all time, just sharing our magical spaces that we have been weaving in and playing in and connecting into our little sandboxes, our little portals into our return of our inner sense, and just how abundant nature is. You have one tiny little seed and you plant it in the ground and it will give you let's talk about zucchini, at least in Canada here, where I'm living in BC. You plant one zucchini seed, you get an abundance of zucchini over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then each zucchini, how many seeds does it give you? Tell me that's not infinite. If you know how to work with nature, nature provides abundantly. How are we lacking? We're not. So that was a real eye-opener for me. It's like, I went and bought a pack of marigold, heirloom marigold seeds, and I planted a few. And then my marigold plant, I tell you, like, it is the most gorgeous, and it's a wild one. It hasn't been hybridized. So it came out looking like something I wasn't expecting. Kind of looks like the diagram behind you, just this fractal of flowers everywhere, wildly growing. And then I took a dried head and opened it up, and inside were hundreds of seeds just from one head of one flower. I'll never have to buy seeds again. Just one flower, just one flower will provide me with a lifetime of flowers if I take care of it and I take care of the seeds. And I'm a keeper. Then I become a keeper, an intentional keeper. That's just one plant. And it's just, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, marigolds have been particularly good value for me this year because they just keep going, and they're still flowering now in October. I feel so these dragon cards, the connection with the dragons for me has just gone to a crazy level. So these are Caroline Mitchell, I think her name is, Dragon Path Oracle cards. As I recently started doing dragon readings, sometimes with cards, but sometimes just tuning into the body. And I'm feeling I'm going to do some live soon as well, but I'm just going to, these cards are so beautiful. Not all my cards do I feel like a reading come from them, but these ones definitely do. Okay, so this card is Illuminaire.
Oh my goodness.
So this dragon is about connecting to the light within and, well, just connecting to the light, really, to the energy. And I feel we can use energy and light interchangeably. And it's about shining the light and the love wherever you go. So even just, you know, a few kind words to the lady in the supermarket can just change how she's feeling about her day. And she may well just, the next person that comes, she may reciprocate that and just pass that forward in some way. I'm recognizing in that we are light and dark as well, that we have we have our shadows within us. So I feel this card is also about shining light on ourselves and on our shadows, bringing our shadows into connection with ourselves so that we can be whole. And when we feel that our light has dimmed a little, I don't think there's many people that don't feel uplifted and more light when they come back from being in nature. And if we can just take that time to go in barefoot if we can, but just connect with the trees especially, and just let all the distortion, all the extra energies that we're picking up and which are going through our bodies, but just putting those to one side. It's so much easier to do that when we're out in nature, and to be able to connect with ourselves, our higher aspects, our multidimensional aspects. Sure, there's another card. Nothing is as yet getting my attention. Merlin has been very prominent for me of late, and there's a Merlin card in this pack as well. There's been an owl hooting in the garden, and this is the other thing, like the connections with the animals. I've been doing quite a lot of late night activations in the garden, just bringing the energy through my body to the land, bringing the frequencies, being an anchor point for the frequencies. And I felt like that was why I was pulled out last night. I heard the owl, I went out, and then ended up doing an activation on the land that I don't think I would have done had the owl not called me out. But the reason I mentioned that is that Merlin is often associated with the owl. This card is the Philosopher card, and this can be about new studies, learning new things. So connecting with books, if that still feels right to you to do, or knowledge through videos, but just gaining different insights. I think gaining different views of things, different ways of looking at things. And it almost feels like that's a book of magic as well. And connecting with the stars, taking the time if we can to go outside, especially at night, and connect with the stars. And there's great wisdom that we can receive from the night sky, from the stars. It doesn't necessarily have to be just local to the planet. In the same way that I feel Gaia has a consciousness, I feel the same from the other planets and the other astrological bodies. And the last one is courage. And I think that one speaks for itself, really. But it's about not being afraid to stand tall and put your head a little bit, to be seen is what I'm getting, to have the courage to be seen, even if it does put you in a vulnerable position. Often that's why we stay small, because we're afraid of the knockbacks, we're afraid of the criticism from other people. But it's about having the courage to still do that. And courage, it comes from the French for heart. Care. So that's where the word courage comes from. It's about finding that connection with our heart space and moving and being and speaking from there. So anything you want to add? We're coming pretty close to the hour.
Oh, well, I feel like your card reading obviously will speak to each one of us in our own personal way, and it really spoke to me. So I can share. I don't want my interpretation to influence anyone else's. So this is from me. I'll express what that meant for me. So the first card, the color struck me, even the name, because just a day or so ago, I literally perceived this um, platinum ray come in and land. I don't know if it opened up from inside my heart or if it came down from the stars, as you say, like celestial, um, cosmic light. But it literally felt like I caught a shooting star inside my heart, and it just lit me up like a bright white platinum pillar. And the feeling that it gave me was just, it felt like it melted everything away. And the only thing that mattered was seeing through this very clear love. And love is such a funny word because we only have one word for love in our English language. And I know in I think Italian, there's like 15 or 50, I don't know. um, it just melted through me. And I was just in this level of witness that just felt so pristine and incredible. And I was basking in that. And I felt to myself, if I felt like this all the time, you know, I don't think I'd ever be able to get angry at anyone, like with these eyes, with this experience. So your card reminded me of that. And then the next card that you pulled, the color, it was a green. Let's see it again. Yes. Oh my goodness, that color, the colors, the emeralds and the golden and the greens in there. First of all, of course, that makes us think of Gaia and this emerald heart. Um, the emerald heart and the philosopher's stone, and perceiving through the heart. It's like we've go on the journey with the mind, and it's like the same journey that you take with the mind, you can take with the heart. And so that, really calls to me right now. I feel like I'm starting on a brand new level, to be honest. Like sometimes I feel like I was born just a moment ago, like fresh slate, and everything that I thought I knew or that I perceived in the mind needs to go. I need to go through everything again through the heart and led by the heart. I know that there's a mythology about the philosopher's stone, so I'll have to look that up later. There's something that wants to be spoken to there. Sorry, there's a tangent that I want to go on, but I can do that later myself. And then the other card, courage. I've been really feeling that lately, because I'm feeling this really big push and call out to show myself again, and to really put out what I'm calling my signal. First to really be in touch with that signal, and then to really be an ambassador of your own signal. But of course, it's very important first to know what that signal is and to get clarity and have that intention in that before you come and stand on the soapbox and yell. It's like when you're a child and you just want your parents' undivided attention or whatever, because that there's something about it that feels good when someone watches you. And So sometimes your child won't even, or as a child, you won't even have anything to say. You just want that connection, and you don't necessarily, right? You're just like, I'm going to do anything for that connection. And I know a big part of my path here is to connect with other people. And, you can say, well, why? Why do you want the connection? Why do you want the engagement? Why do you want the attention? And it's like, there's magic in our connections. Like when I connect to you, it just lights up my whole day. And I want to share that with anyone who can have that, even just briefly. There's these powerful connections that we have with one another that speak for themselves. It doesn't even necessarily need to have a dialogue around it. Like it's just like that pillar that opened up, and I'm like, if I stay here, everything will be okay. So I think some of us have a real purpose to connect heart to heart, because again, the magic is there. That is where the magic is, and that's our mycelium network. That's our root system. It's heart to heart. That's, I think, where we want to build from, is maybe what I'm trying to say. And so I want to build that heart architecture, that heart coherence, architecture with my tribe. And I definitely feel like you are absolutely part of my heart tribe, Denise.
Same. And I always get the same feeling as well with the messages. Yeah, the similarities that we've experienced have just been actually quite ridiculous.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you too to everybody who has been with us on our little journey today. I'd love to do this again with you sometime. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface really here today. Yeah. So do keep an eye out for Kandice's shares. They are always beautiful. You can always feel the heart energy coming from them. And I love what you do with words. Wordsmith doesn't even, I was going to use that word with you, and it doesn't even really encapsulate it, but you are an enigma with words and how you play with words and see stuff behind words that you're like, oh yeah. And your wisdom as well. So thank you for being you and shining your light as you do on all of us. And thank you to everybody, who's been with us here today on this first Heartful Living weave. There will be more, I don't know when, and there will still be Love Speaks Loves as well. And if the dragon, keep an eye out, I will come on and do some dragon readings, so keep an eye out for that. And I have the next dragon immersion in 2 weeks as well, which I'm so excited about. That's going to be a journey into the dragon womb space and co-creating with the golden dragons. So yeah, this is going to be a biggie. The next body one that I'm doing is going to be eyes, ears. It's all the senses basically, and all the clair senses, and kind of putting those together. And I think there's going to be another call as well next week, which I will get the word out when that's more formulated. Anything else that you would like to share, sweetheart?
Just gratitude. Gratitude for you.
Thank you. Okay, so I will stop the live stream and just say thank you again. And if you want to check out more of these, I have got a new Heartful Living channel on YouTube, Heartful Living with Denise. There's not that much on it yet, but hopefully I'll get the inspiration to edit some more videos and put some more things on there. And there's Inner Peace with Denise as well, which is staying on YouTube. So thank you, everybody, so much. Love, 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 love. Bye.